Hi everyone, Cinder here. Welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Professor?
Now, it's support time. We got a bunch of supports to go through. So, I'm going to go through the ones with me first, and then we'll go through all the ones with all the characters. No clue how long this episode is going to be, so I'm just going to tell you up front, because even if it's long, I'm not going to cut this one. Typically, if it gets like 50 minutes, sometimes I don't cut those, but typically if it gets to 50 an hour, I tend to cut them into 2 episodes, unless it's like a really big event or final boss or finale or something like that. But I'm just letting you know, I'm not going to cut this episode. We're going to get through all the supports in this episode, so you can feel free to watch. I mean, the characters are kind of what's really driven this Fire Emblem game, I think. The story just kind of seems to be... While I'm more invested in the story now, there's still way too many questions and things we don't have answers to. From like the first part of the game, from chapter 1, I think it's part 1. So that's kind of all over the place. The combat's Fire Emblem, which I really enjoy. But I think what people really love is the characters. And support conversations let you learn more about these characters. So we're going to do those. We're going to do support conversations this episode. Because there's a lot to get through. Especially after we finally got Dimitri to open his eye. Still training?
Indeed, but I was thinking about ending it here. Perhaps it is the gloomy weather, but I am feeling the sting of wounds that should have healed long ago.
What wounds?
The injury I got when that girl stabbed me after the battle at Gronder. Her eyes were filled with revenge, just as mine once were.
Who was she?
I don't know, but I have a guess.
Actually, we know.
I suppose I haven't told you about that yet.
What are you talking about?
I was attacked inside the monastery the other day. It caused quite the uproar. The ones who attacked me were some of the youths we taught swordsmanship to once upon a time.
Are you okay?
Of course. I could capture the lot of them with my eyes closed. It seems they were raised by a group of thieves we put down 5 years ago. I heard Lady Rhea took custody of them, claiming that the children were innocent. I have taken so many lives, and with each one, I face hatred. During the last 5 years especially. My life was not so different from that of a wild beast. And that young girl's brother. At some point, I must have... That is why I thought it only natural that someone would retaliate someday. Because I hated. Because I stole and... because I killed. But with those children, it's different. We drew our blades with the best of intentions, only to hurt them in the end. I suppose this is yet another thing we will just have to live with.
Feel the same way?
Yes. As one who chose to fight, it is my responsibility to confront this anguish and the true nature of war. Until the day my life comes to an end.
We can confront it together.
Thank you. You know, Professor, there is something that I only recently realized. I never knew it could be so comforting to have someone standing by my side.
That's one. Save the game.
Professor,
Gilbert. Sure.
even this town, which was a ruin, has begun to recover its energy. However, acquiring supplies is still difficult. The people living here are struggling too. This conflict must be brought to an end soon.
I quite agree. Yeah, let's end it ourselves.
I agree. We must seize victory with our own hands.
That's right.
Still, I wonder what path my life should follow once we achieve our goals.
Aren't you going back to your family?
That has been my intent. But surely my daughter Annette must have her own path to follow. Perhaps she would be happier if our paths diverged. Of course, if she desires it, I will gladly return. But if she does not... I wonder if I should ask my wife to join me here. To live out our days together at the monastery. That would not be so bad a choice either. Perhaps it is the fault of last night's drink that I am indulging in such dreams of the future today.
It's important to think about the future.
Yes. I've learned there is strength in focusing clearly on tomorrow and allowing yesterday to be done.
Hey, it's the old fishing guy. Hi there.
It's old fishing guy. Old fishing guy?
A short time ago, I instructed these children in the art of fishing.
Thanks to you, we caught a really, really big fish in the river nearby.
Is that right? Be sure you share it with your families now.
We will.
What happened to not smiling?
I did say something about that once, didn't I? I even told you to forget you ever saw me smile. But now, I would not ask that of you. Your words from when last we spoke have stayed with me. They bring to mind the king I first served. He told me not to dwell upon the dead. The dead are dead, and those who live are not bound by them. I intend to live my own life from now on.
Good. That's a fine smile.
You have a fine smile as well. One that I could never have imagined when we first met. No matter how our titles or positions change, I hope you will always remain yourself, Professor.
All right. And that does it for me. So we have a whole bunch of supports. A whole bunch of A-rank supports with Dimitri because he's behind. Because he was, being the boar prince, as Felix would say. I think that may be, well, Gilbert and Dedu. A lot of these are Dimitri, so we'll crank those out, see what everybody has to say now that he's back, and now that events have changed. He's moving forward, which I'm really, really happy about, seeing where his character goes from here. It's like he's going to be the Lord that I wanted him to be. I'm happy for that.
Right.
I believe that's everything. I'm going to check one more thing before I get on with the supports and let you all enjoy those.
Unbelievable.
Okay, I did that already. Cool. So I'll just go ahead and tell you now, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the supports and have a lot of fun. Or, if not fun, then just get a lot of entertainment out of the supports, however they go. And enjoy the character interaction, however it goes. Next time I might show these. Let me check the calendar. It's a new recording session for me. We have Rare Monster Sighting. I'll just check. Annette's birthday. I don't know if I want to show off the tea with Annette. Not that I don't like Annette. It's just that I might just get to near the end of the month show off Mercedes because hers is late. Oh, they're even close birthday-wise, the best friends. Inez's birthday and then Mercedes is later that same month. Later this month. So I might start here and take back Ferdiad. And just go straight into the mission. Because, like I've said before, you've all seen how that's going to go, how the explorers are going to go. So just to save us some time. Anyway, speaking of saving time, I'm here rambling on. Sorry, I do that. Sometimes. On with the supports. Again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the supports. And until next time, I'm Central. Remember to shoot for the stars and take care, everyone.
You don't look busy. Join me for some training, Boar Prince.
And here I thought you had no desire to speak with me.
We don't need to speak to clash swords, do we?
I suppose not. Is that one new? Wait. Where did you get such a blade?
I suppose you would recognize its value. I came upon a merchant selling weapons and found this among the rest of the steel.
That pattern around the edge. There's no doubt. It was forged by Zoltan, the master swordsmith.
I'm not giving it to you.
Huh? Oh, I'm just happy to have laid eyes on it. I don't suppose you'd allow me the chance to hold it.
Do you take me for a fool? I'm not letting a brute like you swing it around.
As though I would be careless with something so valuable.
I recall when you were 9 years old, you swung a sword so hard you snapped it clean in two.
Come now, that was so long ago. I'm hardly the fool I was then.
So you say. Yet House Fraldaria still told that story for years.
What's wrong, Felix?
How pointless. No use talking about someone who's long dead. Looking at your face is making me angry. I'm going to find a different training partner. Farewell, your beastliness.
What is going on with him? Finally, you score a point against me on the ground. You have improved, Ingrid.
That was nothing more than a fluke. My technique was horribly sloppy that last round.
It does not matter what sort of technique it was. You won. If this had been a real battle, I would be dead. You wielded your lance well, without any hesitation. Has your approach changed?
You may recall when I said I'm now able to move on, because of you.
I remember. What did you mean by it?
That I finally understand a truth about Glenn. It sounds as though he died with a heavy heart. A heart that carried regret. I had suspected as much. But instead of acknowledging it, I twisted my memory of him to fit an ideal I've been upholding.
I see.
Your Highness, I will not sacrifice my life for anyone. But perhaps instead, I can live my life for someone. I will pledge my life to you.
And how exactly am I meant to interpret that?
However you please, Your Highness.
Oh? Well then. Ingrid, when this is all over, I want you to support and defend me. As my knight. I have been thinking of telling you this for a long time. We get along well, you and I.
As your knight? Yes, yes, of course. Of course I will. I intended to do so for the sake of the kingdom. Together, Your Highness. You and I. Our first order of business. Putting this tragic war to an end.
Yes. And while we're at it, do not die on me, Ingrid. Promise me that.
Yes, Your Highness. I swear it on my lance.
Good evening, Dimitri. Have you come to pray?
Something like that. And you?
Oh yes, that's why I'm here. I love how calm and peaceful the cathedral is this late at night.
It really is.
Coming here on a quiet night always makes me think of those who aren't with us anymore. We've lost so many in this war, too many to count. I hope they all get to live in eternal happiness at the goddess's side. These prayers are all I have to offer.
You are a kind soul, Mercedes.
I think you're kind too, Dimitri. Sometimes to a fault.
Kind? Me? No, not at all. I am just a killer. A disgusting monster.
But why do you kill? For the sake of your loved ones? Those who have passed? Real monsters kill for selfish reasons. They're incapable of expressing sorrow when they kill. So please, don't call yourself a monster.
Mercedes, I am scared. So scared that I will forget their faces. The people who have died. Who I have killed. I cannot let myself forget them. I know that, and yet... Whatever my feelings, it is all the act of a monster.
It's sad, but the truth is that people forget. You may be afraid to forget your past, but you'll never be able to revisit it. Living in the present is the best we can do. We owe it to those who can't come back.
If someone had said those words to me 5 years ago, I would be a different man today.
What do you want to do now, Dimitri? Continue fighting for those who have died? Not as a king, but as my classmate. What do you want to do?
My own dreams. I have never given it any thought. What about you? What do you want, Mercedes?
I want to keep sewing and training with you, even after you've become king. I want to be your friend.
But I have no right to stand beside you.
Please, I can't hear any more of this self-deprecation. I just want to be by your side. Is that so much to ask?
Mercedes. I want the same thing. If you allow it, I wish to stay by your side.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels that way. Let's spend a little more time here together, just the two of us.
Why are you out and about so late, Dimitri?
Hello, Flane. I could ask you the same thing.
Me? I was feeling restless and came here to think.
I see. I'm here for the same reason.
How funny. But, are you feeling well? You look fairly pale.
It's nothing. I just have a bit of a headache.
Oh my. Headaches are quite troublesome, are they not? I am sure it will subside soon. Actually, I am quite talented when it comes to healing magic. If you will allow me, I will have you feeling better in no time.
That's kind of you, but I'm fine.
But why not? Have I offended you somehow?
This headache is something I've dealt with for a while now. Ever since my family and friends were murdered before my eyes. I must never forget that day. I must never allow their deaths to be forgotten. I feel this headache is a reminder of sorts. Of those I failed to protect. And of their murderers who still roam free.
I see. That would explain your somber demeanor. Still, I do not agree with all you are saying. I feel that if I were your father or any of your dear friends whom you lost, I would want you to let go of me eventually. I would never want someone whom I care deeply for to be pained by the loss of me for eternity. And I doubt they would want that either.
Perhaps. Unfortunately, they have left this world, so I can no longer ask their preference.
We cannot ask them directly, but we can imagine how they might have felt. You know who they were as people. As for me, if I am ever to be but a memory in your future, I want you to remember me in a way that brings you joy. I would want you to smile when you recalled me, to feel warmed by the notion that I cherished your company. I cannot imagine I am the only one who feels this way. Surely, anyone who loved another would wish only for their peace and happiness. I must apologize. I was out of line, clearly. I must get some rest now. Please do not stay up too late yourself.
Good night, Flayn. And thank you. Gustav, it has been 8 years since I last called you by that name.
Your Highness, I must deeply apologize for leaving the kingdom without permission.
There is no need to explain, old friend. I can guess at your reasons. The tragedy of Duscur. You felt responsible for that incident and sought respite in the goddess, abandoning your name, rank, and homeland in repentance. Am I right?
I have no excuses to offer. It was all I could think to do.
I always knew you for a pious man, and I figured that if you were to leave, this is where you would end up. You have changed much. Your face does not have the same resolve it once did.
If I may, Your Highness, you have changed as well.
I can't disagree.
It was my duty to protect His Majesty, your father. Naturally, that also included Lady Patricia and yourself as well.
My father and mother are gone. No amount of regret will bring them back.
My dreams are haunted by the thought that, had I arrived at Duscur more swiftly...
You saved my life at Duscur. I have only gratitude for you, no blame to speak of. I wish for you to remain in the kingdom, Gustav, even after this conflict is over. I need your strength to help rebuild the ravaged land that Faerghus has become.
Please, I beg your forgiveness, but there is no place left for me in that land.
I see. Though much has changed, your stubbornness remains. I have no desire to trouble you. If you do not wish to return, that is your choice to make. But I do advise you to at least visit the place of your birth, if only for your family's sake.
Yes, Your Highness. Thank you. I appreciate your concern.
Another day, another training session, I see. You're quite dedicated. And practicing with the sword today. You weren't any good with it when you were little, as I recall.
And who told you that?
Lord Rodrigue mentioned it to me. He said you used to swing your sword so hard that you'd break it.
That was ages ago. I've had plenty of time to improve since then. Now I count swordplay as one of my specialties. Care to see for yourself?
Well, I can't just take your word for it, can I? Let's see what you've got. Well, I'm impressed. You're better than I expected.
I could say the same of you. I suppose we students still have much to learn.
No need for false modesty. We fought as equals just now. You're strong, and your form is excellent. You're clearly an experienced fighter. But you're greedy. You can't be so impatient to win. It'll come at a grave cost.
Greedy? I see. I'll take that note to heart. You have my thanks for the instruction.
Ah, it returns. The formality, the stiffness. Anyway, after we're through here, I might head into town for some food. Care to join me?
I appreciate the invitation, but I have certain duties I must attend to this evening.
Of course you do. Never mind about my plans then.
I thought you'd say that. You have the same sense of responsibility as I do.
You think so? I didn't want to push you to join me. We can just do it another day. I'll confess, I'm taking a shine to you. I'd like to talk to you more.
I would like that as well. Ever since I saw you wielding a sword all those years ago, I've been following in your footsteps. To be able to stand with you and cross swords is quite a...
Hey, slow down. Where did all this come from? You're embarrassing me. That's enough chatter for now anyway. Let's get back to sparring, this time with lances. I won't hold back. Show me what you can do.
Right. Prepare yourself!
You're quite late getting back.
The scouting mission didn't go well. I was so busy I didn't even have time to eat.
I thought that might be the case. Gilbert was exhausted too. Glad you made it. I saved some food for you.
Oh, thanks. I'm starving. Your cooking's fantastic, as always. The spices were a nice touch. I can really taste the Dusker inspiration. You remembered that I wanted to try more Dusker cuisine, didn't you?
Yes. How is it?
Amazing. You're a much better chef than I am.
Your cooking is not bad at all.
Thanks. My father would be glad to hear it.
Is he the one who taught you?
Not exactly. I learned from watching him work the kitchen in his restaurant. And what about you? I think you said that you and your sister helped with the cooking at home.
Yes. I learned by watching my mother. Nothing remains of Dusker. The towns, the people, the culture. All of it was put to the torch. My mother and sister are gone. Yet that simple memory of them standing together in the kitchen is so clear, so real.
So in a way, you put those memories into this meal.
Yes. Through me, they are able to live on.
I like that way of thinking. The church may not like my feelings on this, but in Fodlan, when people die, they pass on to be with the goddess, right?
I suppose.
That seems so far away. I'd rather they stayed here. My parents, my brother, Lanato, maybe they can all live on through me, too.
As long as you think of them, they will.
Dudu. Your cooking is delicious. It really is.
Careful, or you will oversalt it.
It's all right. Thank you, Dudu.
Eat as much as you'd like. Forgive me.
It's fine. Honestly, it's pretty funny when you think about it.
I did not expect the horse to react so violently when I approached.
No kidding. And I didn't expect the two of us to get covered in hay.
Animals have never taken to me. It must be as you said. My face is the problem. I have not honed my smile well enough. I deeply regret the trouble I've caused you.
Don't be ridiculous. And especially don't be sad. It's no trouble at all, I promise. Everyone makes mistakes. Isn't that what you've been trying to teach me?
Yes, I suppose so.
It does look like this'll take a while to clean up. But if we work together, it'll be done in no time.
I am truly sorry.
Don't apologize. When it's your turn for stable duty, I'm happy to help.
Really?
Sure. And in return, you can help me out when I'm on kitchen duty.
Of course.
By the way, I tried out all that stuff you mentioned before, about how to not be a scatterbrain. I'm still pretty hopeless, but thanks to you, I'm making fewer mistakes. It's probably not a good idea for me to be left alone around knives and boiling water, though. That's why it'll be really nice knowing you have my back.
You have changed.
Huh?
You no longer fear approaching me for help. You simply ask. And now, when the need arises, I will rely on you, too.
Ah, hello. Dedu, yes?
Finished praying?
I am, yes. You have grown much since I saw you last. You're a man now.
You barely know me.
True. I suppose we did only meet a handful of times.
As haggard as you look now, you were even worse when I last saw you in the capital.
Haggard, eh? True enough.
Still weighed down by the same regret, I see.
I was unable to protect the king. That is the ultimate failure. One I must atone for.
If you have the spare time to beg forgiveness, then pick up a lance and train.
That would do nothing to atone for the dead.
Your prayers are mere self-indulgence.
You do not understand.
No, I do not. Fargus needed you. His Highness needed you.
There was no other choice but for me to leave. What would you have done if you were in my place? If His Highness had died due to your failures?
If he commanded me to live, then I would live. Otherwise, I would die with him. I have nothing left to lose other than His Highness. Home, family, all but that man I have already lost. You were a knight in service to the king for decades. Not only did you excel in bravery, wisdom, and tactics, but in matters of character, you were an ideal knight, utterly above reproach. That is what His Highness has always said. I have only come this far by modeling my conduct after his stories of you. But now...
Forget those words spoken by His Highness. I am no different a man than I was before, beaten down by sin. Alone and weak. I am lost and irredeemable.
Still contemplating, I see.
Without so much as a word, you've read me through and through. Since last we spoke, I've been thinking a lot about my future. How I want to spend my life. It's a lot to think about, and I haven't entirely sorted out where I'm going. I think I need more time to grow.
On the contrary, you have given this honest and sincere thought. I am quite impressed, actually.
You're impressed with me?
Worry about the future is not unique to youth. It is human nature. At the risk of being overbearing, might I offer you one more piece of advice?
Of course.
Have you considered what your life would be like had you not been born with a crest?
Hmm.
Do you suppose that you would have been ordinary? Insignificant? I do not think so. Even without a crest, such a promising young lady as yourself would have a bright future ahead of her.
Seth, I
am not typically inclined to flattery, so I hope you will take my words to heart. Have faith in yourself. If you trade that faith for a misplaced pride in your crest, I will have to reassess your character.
I've no intention of doing such a thing. It will take me time and experience, but I will find my path and walk it proudly.
I am glad to hear it, Ingrid.